Follow your passion. We have all heard this phrase before. We want to get up in the morning and feel fired up about our life and how we're spending our time. But what if you don't know exactly what your passion is or how to find it? In this time of digital addiction, persistent superficial interruption, and massive draw on online amusements that don't really matter, it is more crucial than ever to understand how visionaries, creators, and titans of industry shield their virtuosity to become consistent producers of greatness. When we talk about passion, certain things come to mind, such as devotion, conviction, and love. These elements trigger a strong desire to achieve great things and fill the void of emptiness that's within you. A desire fueled by passion goes such a long way. Passion pushes you to your most significant potential and drives you to keep moving forward. Simply put, it makes you feel like your life is worth living. As a result, you invest all your time and energy into it and allow it to define who you are. Moreover, it motivates you and aids you in making plans for the future, providing guidance both at the professional and personal levels. But let's face it, finding your passion isn't always easy. At least for many people I know, and for me, it wasn't. If you are the person I used to be, you're spending your time and energy working a hectic job. And while you know it's not what you love, you feel stuck, overwhelmed, burned out, and emotionally drained. You can hardly think about getting through today, let alone finding time to think about your future self. If you find it difficult to uncover the things that give you a sense of fulfillment, you are not alone. Finding your passion can take time and effort, which we all know can be so challenging in our lives that are constantly filled with distraction and have us operating at such a frantic pace. But it's time to clear your schedule and commit to making it your number one priority if you're itching to be a heavyweight or grandmaster in the making. There are actually 5 different ways that I have found that you can find your passion that I would like to walk you through, a transformational method that will help you integrate it into your life so that your intentions translate into amazing results. These 5 steps are ones that I use to find my own passion and are one of the most profound tools that I have used to construct a creative, productive, fulfilled life. The first is to enlist the help of your inner child. Your starting point is to actually step back into time and think about what you always dreamed about when you were younger. In other words, be the child you once were. Now, this is quite an exciting way to approach things. Think about what you loved doing or wanted to do as a child before the pressure of being an adult took those dreams away. Go back to that child within you and find the things that you admired before you cast them away for something more approachable, reasonable, or practical. Venture into your childhood memories. Try to find things that interest you, like your role model from when you were a kid, your sports hero, creative outlet, or favorite academic subject. Second, take inventory of your talent, skills, and interest. The foundation for finding your passion is harnessing your genius around a few things that you are strikingly great at. These might be talents you didn't even recognize that you had, but that others recognize in you. There are 2 ways that I like to approach this exercise. First, think of something that you're good at, and when you're doing it, makes you feel delighted inside. Second, think of something that proves fulfilling to you, but you don't believe you're good at, even if people say otherwise. Once you've done that, there is a high probability that you have narrowed your interests. But if not, then ask yourself these questions. Is there something that I get praised or appreciated for, even if I put minimal effort into it? What are some skills that I am great at? What is it that I find myself doing when I lose track of time? What would I do if I didn't mind doing it for free? What activity makes me the most proudest of myself? What is unique about me? Are you continuously ignoring something because it's not practical enough? If so, you need to understand that passion doesn't always have to come with an economic string. The feeling of fulfillment and the joy of just doing it is the most critical aspect of passion. Third, invest time in things that you value. It might sound simple, but your most closely cherished values define what you value the most and ultimately what drives your passion. Understanding your values intimately is absolutely essential to exploring your inner self, which will lead you towards what you are seeking in life. Betraying what your inner core wants you to stand for creates a value gap because the way that you operate is inconsistent with how the valiant part of you wishes to behave. The key here is to become ultra aware of your deep values and to stay loyal to them. When you apply deep values to the world around you, you never want to lead someone else's life. Yes, closing the value gap and finding your value zone can be extremely challenging because it is only then that you discover your true potential, passion, hidden skills, and talent. Here are some of my suggestions for how to approach closing your value gap. Create a table with 10 values that define you and place them in a journal or create a computer spreadsheet. On one axis, list your 10 different values. On the other, list the days of the week. Each night before you go to bed, measure your behavior during the day against your commitment to embody the value you are working on integrating by doing focused reflection. Concentrate on just one value a week, and in 10 weeks, you will have moved through each one of them. It's a great way to work on the transformational power of working daily on your self-awareness. It will lead you to improved performance, wealth, tranquility, and spirituality, as well as helping you find and follow your passion. Fourth, alter your perspective to one of exploration. If you think that passion is something that comes to you on its own, then you're looking in the wrong direction. You need to work on self-awareness, self-discovery, and self-belief and build upon them. While figuring out my own passions, I realized that I enjoyed reading, researching, writing, music, exercising, teaching, and self-improvement. Sometimes we become stuck in how we view our lives, and we need to switch our perspective to one of growth. And as I started integrating more of the activities that I enjoyed into my life, I was shocked at the amount of inspiration that followed. Eventually, as you allow yourself to travel down these paths, you'll begin to consistently narrow down your passions by just doing what comes naturally to you. For example, while I was exploring my interests, I started a personal blog and then looked at how I could expand my writing into additional outlets. Later, I pursued my interest and wrote my first novel, which led me to my calling and creating Passion Struck. Some interests will take you closer to your passion, while others won't. But if you don't think about things differently, you will remain where you are today. By looking at your life through a different lens and trying out different interests, you'll begin to discover your passions. A great tool for shifting perspective is the eulogy exercise. If you've never heard of this or haven't done one in a while, the eulogy exercise is a great way to consider your passion in life. Here's how you do it. Narrow down the most extraordinary and transformational moments in your life. Ask yourself these questions. What was my most proudest moment? What is the largest obstacle or trauma that I had to overcome? What moments in my life caught me to witness awe? What made you feel most loved or to give the most love? When did you find yourself being most present with the world around you? What is the impact of all your actions on others and how it benefited them? Now review what you've written and search for common themes. What traits or common themes come to the surface? Select the traits or themes that best represent the person in the eulogy and then build upon them. After that, use this to organize the themes or traits by importance. The simple fact is we each live two lives. The first is the life that we live before we find our passion. Then there is living life passion struck. And my fifth and final tip for finding your passion is to quit thinking and talking and start acting. No matter how much effort you apply, you will not find your passion by simply thinking or talking about it. Finding your calling requires that you act from the inside out to feel your way to your reality. For example, before I started the Passion Struck podcast, I often wondered what it would be like to interview people for years. But most of my inner beliefs sounded something like this. Being someone like Oprah, Barbara Walters, Mike Wallace, or Stephen Colbert looks awesome, but you're too set in your career to try to start something new now. Most of these people started when they were very young. You've had zero professional training in interviewing, and you're already in your 40s. Get real. The endless conversations that we have within our minds often convinces us not to pursue what our heart is yearning to explore. The first time I started interviewing people, I remember feeling this fulfilled sense of joy inside because actually doing it felt right. No matter how much I thought about it before, it wasn't until I actually took action that my real passion and gift for interviewing fully materialized. Realize that you need to intentionally take actions in line with things that you've discovered about yourself so that your true, passionate self can manifest fully. When pursuing something, you need to stay motivated regardless of the setbacks. There are certain less exciting aspects to things, even if you're the most passionate about them. That is when most people are likely to lose motivation and question their life decisions. It is also why it is so important to not only start, but to sustain taking action daily. And here's the best part. When you take action on your passion, it actually requires little to no cash outlay. It starts with the simple choice to venture into the unknown. Now that you've considered these 5 ways to find your passion, a question probably arises. How am I supposed to apply all these steps in my life? Let me give you one of the biggest secrets that I have learned in my own life. Building your future self around that which you love is something that you will never regret. Finding your passion will give you the purpose, devotion, and intention to create the life that you want and that inner fulfillment you desire. Furthermore, you will have an incredible journey while you pursue it. Many times, the answer to how you find your passion lies directly in front of you, but you refuse to see it. This is exactly when you need to shift your perspective, open your eyes, and trust that life can be truly remarkable. To make your life extraordinary, you must first become passion-struck about it and harness your inner genius around only a few vital things. Turn your could've or would've into must. Stop making excuses and accept nothing less than living your best life. This may sound inconceivable at first, but once you dedicate yourself to overcoming your fears, you will be able to crush self-doubt and reservations too. You have no idea where your passion leads you if you keep moving towards what lights you up, but you'll be guided for sure to where you are meant to be. And once you've discovered those things that you love to do, that will lead you to find new ways to turn that love into reality. I wish you all the best in your journey ahead to finding your passion. I hope that you enjoyed that video. And if you're interested in content like this, please subscribe to the Passion Struck podcast, which is consistently ranked by Apple in the top 25 health podcasts and was recently ranked as one of the top 50 most inspirational podcasts of 2022. Also, check out and subscribe to our YouTube channel at John R. Miles, which has over 400 videos and exclusive content that you won't find anywhere else. Thank you so much for joining me today. Now go out there and live life passion struck.